Hi, I'm Marsh from StrataGames, and today we're playing some more Pauper, of course. We are playing some Mono White Heroic. We are trying to go fast right now. I'm going to try to get a couple leagues in 3 to 4-ish hours because I got some other stuff to do tonight. So we're trying to take some fast decks. So Mono White Heroic is one of the faster decks that I like to play that allows you to speed through a league that also still has a little bit of interesting gameplay and also can do pretty well in the format. It certainly has weaknesses, but it's a little bit more resilient, I think, than some of the other decks that are like this, like Kiln Fiend or Infect, although we're going to play some Infect later, actually. But we're going to be doing this. So we're going to start with Lagana Band Trailblazer, Wonder Weave Aerialist, and Akroan Skyguard. These are the main creatures that can grow and protect themselves to be able to hit our opponent really hard. Then we are going to pump them with Sentinel's Eyes, Ethereal Armor, Spirit Link to gain lifelink, essentially. We can protect them with Benevolent Blessing, Hyena Umbra, Emerge Unscathed, and Lauren's Escape. And we can buff them even more with Homestead Courage or Guiding Voice, which can grab Sokka's Sword Training or Airbending Lesson. We're also playing Remote Farm to ramp us a little bit faster, as well as a bunch of planes. Then on our sideboard, we have a Doomed Traveler for like Edict decks, anything that makes us sacrifice a creature. Another Spirit Link. We have some Death Speakers to have protection from black. Mask of Law and Grace gives protection from black and red to a creature, and Shield of Duty and Reason does that for blue and green. We have those lessons. Then Fairy Macabre and a Gut Shot, which is mostly going to be used against Crook Clan Shaman or something like that. And that is the deck. So let's just take it for a league and see how we do. Thanks to Card Market for sponsoring this video. I've written a comprehensive guide on how to play White Weenie in Pauper, including my ideal stock list, over 30 sideboard matchups, and a sideboard cheat sheet, which gives you a very easy snapshot view and what to sideboard for every single matchup. I also have guides for Black Sack and Esper Affinity. Each guide is only $15, and if you buy one, you will get all future updates that I ever make to that guide for free. I also offer coaching, so if you're interested in upping your Pauper game for any of the decks that I'm very proficient in, or if you're interested in having me play your deck in a future video, you can do a deck donation, which is the only way you'll ever see me playing Cycle Storm or Flickertron. How's it going? Things are going pretty well. I'm doing all right. How are you doing, Shadeblade? Hello, Ben. Resubscribing for 9 months in a row. Thanks so much for that. Always appreciated. How is everyone doing? Tough night in your old hometown, Marsh? Yeah. What was going on there? Hey, Marsh, good job at TTD. Hope you have a good day. Thanks. I didn't do the best, but I appreciate it anyway. And it was a fun event nevertheless. Fast leagues, yay. Yep. Sometimes you just want to cruise through a league. StrataGames just went live, so not too bad. Ooh, I'll have to check them out. Sounds pretty cool. Tornado in Marival. Oh, yeah, I did hear about that. I know that's been happening a lot the last few years. I never had to deal with that when I was living there, but yeah, it seems to be more common recently. I actually saw a video that was the exact street that I used to live on, being like power lines down and trees down and things like that, which is pretty rough. So, unfortunate. All right, this hand is medium. 3 lands is like kind of a lot. 2 creatures, you wish one of them's a 1-drop. We do have a lifelink. We have a way to grow this twice, because I could sword trading it right away, which would be plus 3 counters. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it'd be like a 4/4. Ugh, I don't love this. Try really hard to go to TTD just so I can see your famous booty. Interesting way of phrasing that. Yeah. I mean, it's fun to go there, and good amount of people have started recognizing me. It's always great to see people who like the videos, so I appreciate that. Tornadoes have been brutal this year. We've had 4 warnings and a touchdown where I live. That's rough for sure. I think I'm going to mulligan this. It just folds really easily to anything. I guess with 2 creatures, like the first one dies, it's not the end of the world, but this one is 1-lander, so I want to draw another planes, but I think good enough because we have the Trailblazer. We're also on the play. Then we can immediately protect it with Hyena Umbras. Assuming there's no like Edict, I think we should be okay. Tough if I want to get rid of Benevolent Blessing, which is a 2-drop, but also obviously the best way to protect our creature, or like the second Umbra. This was the first one I can remember being really bad. Yeah, that is Unfortunate. Shadeblade, roughly where are you located? Because Ben's mentioning this is up in like northwest Indiana, so I'm just curious where you're at, where you're also getting the tornadoes. I guess we'll get rid of one Umbra. Oh, we have an upkeep stop from playing Terror. Don't need that right now. Okay, against Tron, we probably don't need the Blessing as much, but if we get a land, I think we'll be in a great spot, just being able to pump this really quick. If we don't, it could be difficult getting fast enough. Kansas City, Missouri. Northwest Missouri has gotten hit hard too. Gotcha. Yeah, it's rough. I know anywhere in the Midwest or even a little south or whatever, yeah, tornadoes are getting worse, unfortunately. All right, another Trailblazer. Hyena Umbra buffs this just as much as an Ethereal Armor, so we'll just do that on the off chance they have early removal. Seems unlikely, but we can do for 2, and then I can armor again next turn. Random question, would you ever travel to Nashville for Pauper? Is that too far? It depends on the tournament. So, obviously, if it's like higher stakes, then I'm willing to travel a little bit further. I haven't done the exact math, but I assume Nashville's like 6 hours away, so like it's probably too far for anything that's not like a, I don't know, a 2 to 5K at least. Or if there's just like a bigger prestigious event or something. Like I know the Pauper or the Common Ground Cup happens around there, and that's a bigger tournament that I wouldn't mind trying to go to at some point. I have been terrible at promoting this, but I actually am going to Pauper Genesis in Baltimore in July, and that's a bit of a drive, but it's obviously a bigger tournament, so it's not impossible that I could drive somewhere like Nashville. It's just depends on what's going on there. I certainly wouldn't be driving that far for like a win a duel or probably even a 1K or something like that. But yeah, oops. Conduit Pylons. Weird sounds. Mirror Retriever. I can't emerge unscathed or Benevolent Blessing to give protection from that, unfortunately. Pauper Genesis, nice. Yeah, I'm pretty excited for it. I'm going to Genesis as well with the Common Ground crew. Nice. That's cool. Maybe I will see you there then. Yeah, these Retrievers are going to be really annoying. Well, especially because they'll like actually infinitely loop. So I think I play another Trailblazer and try to make another guy big enough to be lethal. I can't wait for that tournament recap video. Yeah, I've already got some ideas planned to try to make it a big special thing, so I'm pretty excited. Definitely will be a good video. Get back at Candy Trail. Another Trailblazer. Common Ground Cup is the reason I ask. Okay, it's next month, and 100-player cap. Maybe the one later in the year we can get you down here. Yeah, I know that it's next month. Somebody mentioned it a couple weeks ago or a month ago, and it was already capped, so certainly no way I could make it then. But it's also, I think, pretty close to Pauper Genesis, so I probably wouldn't be making it to both of them anyway. But there's one later in the year. It's not just annually. If there's one in, like, the fall, then, yeah, I could maybe try to make it out. That would be pretty sweet. They Insight a Mirror Retriever, picking up with the other Retriever. Of course, it's going to be one Jump Blocker. The problem is if I draw Planes, I don't really have that much more damage. And if I draw anything else, I don't have the ability to cast much. I guess, like, another Armor on this will give me a 5-power creature here. That'd probably be my best draw. And they have a Blood Fountain. Guiding Voice. 2 per year. Okay. I also have a deal for a cheaper hotel. Nice. Yeah, I'll have to check it out, try to make it to the next one. Because I would like to. I mean, it would be cool for sure. Retriever buys the other Retriever. Yeah. The fact that they had enough Retrievers to just keep doing this, like, we could still get there if they don't find their combo for, like, 2 more turns, maybe. But there's the Foundry, so they just need an altar, and we'll be dead. There's the altar. So they play a Retriever. They infinitely loop them because it gives them back the mana. They get infinite Golem Foundry guys. And these are also artifacts that I can't get protection from. I have no way to jump a creature. Like no flying. Pretty sure some sideboards of these play Yip Yip, which gives flying off of a 1 mana lesson from the sideboard. And if I had that, I could have actually won. So that's a reason to maybe do that. We don't need Spirit Links at all, because that's irrelevant. Fairy Macabre can stop the combo, or just some value, even just stop them from like looping those retrievers. I'm not sure if they play like cast downs in the sideboard, in which case we would maybe want like Mask of Law and Grace or Death Speakers or something. But it almost feels like maybe just a gut shot to clear a blocker would be okay. It's not amazing. We already have a fair amount of protection though, and the protection's not even doing much here. So maybe I just want like more creatures. And the Blessing's more expensive. I assume they'll have some sort of removal in the sideboard. Let's try this. Alright, we have 3 creatures. Now we know they're not going to have as much removal, and then it's all protection. Like, this can trigger this Skyguard twice, but this is only making it a 4/4. I think we got to mulligan that. Getting all these cards in duplicates. Like 2 Fairy Macabres, I don't think I need. This hand's okay, but I really still don't think it's great. Like if we had 2 lands there or something, maybe. Obviously this one's, I mean, it's got the right cards, it's just no lands. Okay, I honestly think this might be our best hand yet. I think we have to just keep this one Trailblazer. The problem is now if they just like block again, or get a blocker, I'm going to be stuck yet again, but what are you going to do? The mulligan to 4 is rough. Ultratron, my arch nemesis. Yeah, it's definitely one I'm not a huge fan of either. I should probably Hyena Umbra just on the off chance they have like a cast down and just play a swamp and try to do it. Tower, Prism, Guiding Voice. I mean, honestly, having just a 1 mana lesson might be better just in case we have hands like this. Even if it, like the flying is nice too, but the airbending lesson has been useful in the past, but it's only been like every couple of times. It's not usually there. Of course, they have Natural Tron and a Marauder. Yeah, if they can just gain enough life, then I'm not going to be able to force them to block or anything. They're certainly not going to chump here. Malevolent Rumble. Mills 2 insights, a map, and a plant. So if they have a land, actually, even without the land because of the spawn, they can just take the map, crack it. They have a retriever as well. Oh, right. Also, these tap for 1,000,000 mana, obviously. Merged Unscathed does nothing against the colorless creatures. Plus, they can just gain a bunch, which I guess means I have to leave this back because otherwise I'm taking 5 and they get like a free chump. Well, a bunch of free chumps. Seems like a bad matchup. Like, they don't have... Like, generally I'm okay against Tron. In fact, I think we have a good matchup against Tron, but the fact that they have so many colorless chump blockers, and I have really no way to deal with those, is tough. And then sack the map. They said, oops. I was not paying attention to exactly what they did. That was an oops. Oh, they sacked the retriever before they had anything to target with it, I guess. Golem Foundry. They just have another retriever? Okay. Well, we're going fast, even if we're losing, unfortunately. Hey, I've been binging a bunch of your videos lately, getting back to Magic, and Pauper's a newbie. Going to replace my old green Stompy deck with Jund, I think. Have a good stream and good games. I appreciate that. Yeah, glad you have been enjoying the videos and joined Pauper, the greatest format there is. Yeah, green Stompy, unfortunately, a bit outclassed at this point. Kind of waiting for some good cards to make it better. But Jund is a great deck. Super fun, very in-depth, lots of stuff to learn about it. So I think that's a fun one to pick up. So yeah, good luck with that. Hope it goes well. What do you think of the Seeker of Skybreak Hawk Eyes Bow combo? Yeah, it's interesting. Sorry, just for anyone who doesn't know, I'm bringing this up because it's a new card. Hawkeye's Bow, whenever equipped creature becomes tapped, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. And then you combo that with Seeker of Skybreak, which is a old creature that can tap to untap target creature, including itself, which means it can infinitely tap and untap, which deals infinite damage to your opponent. I'm sure it's going to be a deck that is okay. I don't think it's going to be the most outrageous thing ever. This is another one of these hands that's like not really fast enough for me to like, but I guess we'll try it this time. I think the combo is going to be kind of like the pizza combo we've been seeing, which is like you'll see it in some events, and it'll be okay. Maybe it can even do well enough. But like that pizza combo deck, it's combining cards that are not very good to achieve a very good result. But you have to put bad cards in your deck, basically, to end up with like a good combo. But like the Hawkeye's Bow, like what does it do if you're not immediately winning with it? It's like +1/+0 reach and a little bit of damage. It's not very good. The Seeker untaps target creature, so maybe you can pair that with like a Mana Dork or something to like be kind of effective, but it's not really that great still. This is interesting because Sentinel's Eyes has Escape, so I kind of want to discard that. But it's actually the card that I want to play to buff this. I think we'll get rid of the Skyguard. Perfect. Unfortunately, I can't buff this out of range of 1 Galvanic, so I think we're just going to Sentinel's Eyes and play a Wonder Weave Aerialist. If they Galv Blast this, so be it. Yeah, so that combo, like, it does have some differences. Obviously, it's a 2-card combo instead of a 3-card combo to the pizza combo. It's also, I guess you can do the pizza combo as early as turn 3 as well, and this one you can do on turn 3. I don't know. I think it'll be like a minorly annoying deck for like a couple weeks, and then people will figure out how to play against it if it is actually that strong. And also, it's a creature artifact combo deck that needs to not have summoning sickness. There's just a lot of things going against it that I don't think it's going to be too powerful, personally. All right, they did kill this, but I can buff the Wonder Weave Aerialist, which gives it flying, so it doesn't die to Krark. It's already got Ward 2, which means they need a Galvanic and another land, which they missed their land drop. I could hold up Benevolent Blessing for it in case they get that, but I think I'm going to get a little greedy and play a Skyguard here, and then next turn try to go like protection here, hold up protection here, and like Spirit Link on this or something. It dying to Lava Dart in a Red Madness meta is a massive difference from Brute Scale. Yes, that too. It's 1 toughness. Lava Dart is super relevant, and also it's a red card involved in the combo, which means it gets Hydroblasted as opposed to a colorless and a black card, which are a lot harder to interact with. So that is definitely a big difference as well. I'm just going to attack with the Aerialist. If they want to block and have a Toxin, then I can give Pro Black, which doesn't save it from a Galvanic, I suppose, but that's fine. Okay, they're just going to sack to a Reckoner's Bargain. That's fine, too. Play a Trailblazer, and I'm just going to hold up Blessing here. The thing with Pauper is the decks are so cheap, and the cards are usable for a long time. Almost makes me want to get more than one deck. Yeah, it's definitely a slippery slope. It's easy to just suddenly buy 10 decks or whatever, which I'm not saying there's anything wrong with if you can afford it. But yeah, it definitely is. Yeah, like I literally, when I started playing, like I built the 1 or 2 decks that I wanted to, and then after that, I basically just started buying staples whenever I saw them at a good price until I acquired almost all of the cards for decks and then bought the specific cards I needed after that, which worked pretty well. I could Blessing here, which is better if I draw like a 2-drop, but I don't really know what I want a Blessing. Yeah, okay, Hyena Umbra on Skyguard makes it so it's big enough to attack here. Then we have 2 3/3 flyers, which are also dodging Krarks. So I think we're just doing this and still leaving up the Blessing. Kind of want to use it to counter whatever they got. Oh yeah, Shadeblade mentioning the Dog Bones video. That was pretty sweet. Green, black, Stompy, Sacrifice. Black, yep. Definitely don't want 10 decks, but 2 seems nice. Maybe 1 more competitive, the other more gimmicky and fun. Jund, for example, looks like a cool one to help me learn the format. Yeah, fair enough. Jund's a good deck. Definitely a little bit more competitive, but like it's, you know, depending on how you feel about it, it's also a fun one. All right, they're going to refurb here. I think I'm going to let them get a card because I don't want to waste this Blessing. I think I probably put it on Skyguard to give a buff. And I think I want to go Pro Black just so they can't chump it. So I have like a pretty clear attack pattern. They could Galvanic Blast, but it does already have Hyena Umbra. And Cryogen Relic. Yeah, I think we need to go black because they can still Cryogen to keep it tapped. So I can't let them have like 2 chump blockers and the tap. So I think this is fine. I guess Wonder Weave Aerialist if they want to trade both refurbs, which I guess now they don't block here. Maybe they will just do that. So maybe I should have saved it to give Pro Black here, but because it didn't have First Strike. It's fine. I'm going to Sentinel's Eyes now. Well, Actually, let's not. I don't need this mana, so let's keep it in case they get another 4th refurb. I could Sentinel's Eyes this now, which gives it Vigilance, which would be nice against the Cryogen, but I kind of expect they're going to crack this on here, so I might actually want to Sentinel's Eyes the Trailblazer, so we'll wait and see. Biogruff is an all-time favorite. Yeah, the card's great. Pretty sweet. They got another Cryogen. Yeah, so they could just perma-stun this potentially. Ooh, Ethereal Armor. Does that just kill? I mean, we're going to do this. Because that's +2, and then this is +5. So no, it's going to be 1 short. I'm still decent. I kind of didn't even realize they had this Spell Bomb on board, so kind of nice that they did not blow up our Sentinel's Eyes. They go to 1 here, but if they do get Krark Toxin, it's kind of bad. Biograph, Bone Picker, and Hunger the Howl pack. Cards I wish I had a home in a meta deck. Yeah, maybe eventually we'll get the Golgari Sacrifice deck to be meta, but might be a bit. They do have it. So they can do that and then keep this tapped. Oh, they sacked the Cryogen? Then they surely have an answer for this. Okay, Galvanic Blast, but it's got Hyena Umbra. Did they realize it had Hyena Umbra? Because now I just still can attack for 3 and win the game. They literally have the 2 mana that they could have used to crack the Cryogen, so they should have just sacked the Clue, or maybe even a land. Alright, well, that's what happens. Mask of Lawn Grace for the protection from red and black. Definitely what we want. Gut Shot's decent. WotC just downshift Hardened Scales, you cowards. That's maybe a little too good. Seems like a lot. Alright, Gut Shot makes Krark not gain Death Touch. Mask of Lawn Grace just helps prevent them from dying. I think it's just those 3. We don't need the Spirit Links. Could bring in Death Speakers, but they don't grow. The protection for black's not that good, honestly. Yeah, we'll just do this. We have 1 Skyguard that if it dies, we're in trouble. But I could, if I draw a 3rd land, I could wait till turn 3, play it with a Loren's Escape, and then we can Blessing. I think it's good enough, but we need to make sure we can protect the Skyguard for sure. That does help a little bit. Maybe it lets me cast 1 on turn 2, and if it dies, then we have 1 on turn 3. Blood Fountain. Yeah, I mean, we have nothing else to cast and are not drawing a land, so we'll start with this guy. See if it dies to a Galvanic, which I assume it will. Yep, they have a Monitor. Come on, give me a Plains. Ugh. So I could play the Skyguard. If it dies, then we need to draw another creature, of which we have 10 more in the deck, and we have 16 more lands in the deck. They don't have the fastest start. Also, if they're not playing like cast downs or something from the sideboard, or maybe extracts, they only have a few more Galvanic Blasts. I think we're going to wait a turn, but this gives them time to potentially draw a bunch more cards, although they didn't have a Fanatical or a Reckoner's Bargain, so that's something. Bridge, swing for 3. Refurb is totally fine. We'll discard a Sentinel's Eyes. Give me a Plains. Remote Farm, but that means I have to wait another turn. I think we do, because then we have, like, we know we're hitting it next turn, whereas if they discard a Krark, because they just want to keep drawing. If we didn't hit a land of any sort, then I might have gone for it, because, like, we don't know if we're going to hit a land, but now that we have the farm, it feels like we can wait another turn. Another Plains honestly wouldn't be terrible, but alright, we're playing a Skyguard. I think we're just Homestead Courage right away to buff it up a little bit, just so it can block. And I could have held up the Blessing, but I think I wanted to grow it, and I still have Loren's Escape. And hopefully they don't have double Galvanic. Plains, is that any good? We do have a lot of mana already. I guess the Remote Farm's going to die, so maybe I will keep it. I don't know. Didn't have a second Galvanic. It is now still a 4/4, so if they draw another Galvanic on their turn, or if they get an Extract Confession or something, especially because we kept that on top, we're going to die. Discard another Sentinel's Eyes. Alright, we're going to need to give protection from black so that they can't just chump, and then buy these back. We're also going to need to give Vigilance so that we have a blocker. So I think it's Sentinel's Eyes. And then we're going to be above a Galvanic Blast, so it's really just like a Cast Down or Extract that could kill us. They have a Krark, okay. But that doesn't matter because everything's flying. So Sentinel's Eyes, getting rid of the non-flashback or escape cards. I think we're just doing this. Pro-black. I mean, I think we might as well make it as big as possible. Get Sword Training. Now, the Airbending Lesson could actually be relevant, getting rid of a blocker, I think. And then I guess another Sentinel's Eyes. Actually, we'll go for the Courage. Alright, so they can only block with the Monitor. This is a 2-turn clock. Yeah, I assume they'll block. If they didn't, then I could just like Airbending Lesson it next turn. And this way they can at least get a Thought Cast. Casting that's a little risky, honestly, because they could have cracked the Blood Fountain to get the Monitor, and if they didn't draw lands, they couldn't do that this turn. But I guess the chances I hit for 20 are pretty low anyway. Alright, buy those back. Cast the Monitor. They're going to swing. Might as well get some damage in. Also, if they get like 2 more Galvanics, they could just beat us with Burn. Ethereal Armor. I don't think there's a reason to play more stuff on this right now. Because if they do kill it... Well, I guess actually the question is, can I get it up to 20 next turn? Ethereal Armor is +4, so that's 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yeah, I can actually. Okay, well then there is a reason. So we're going to hope that they don't kill us, or kill our creature in any way, or kill us, I suppose. But we can actually make this 20 power, and then we can airbend 1 blocker. Have you or would you ever try Red Heroic or Hot Dogs? It's a little more fragile, so maybe not for you. If you've already done videos with this, I apologize. No need to apologize. I have played quite a few Hot Dogs videos, like 3 or 4, pretty soon after I started making Pauper videos, so like 2-ish years ago. It was actually the main, at the time it was the main like turbo attack, you know, aggro combo deck or whatever you want to call it, that I played, and then it just became a little too inconsistent. All right, we take the match down. It was a little too inconsistent for me to continue doing. It felt like I was losing a lot, but I actually, I'm not the first one to ever think of playing Tainted Strike in that deck, surely, but I was making a lot of videos of red / black for that, and then I also found a card that I hadn't seen anybody else ever use called Rouse, which is basically a mutagenic growth for just power if you have a swamp. So then I built Hot Dogs with 8 mutagenic growths basically, and I got some success with that. It was still not the best thing ever, but it was pretty cool. So yeah, I have a few videos on it, but since then it just hasn't been my favorite thing, because it just like dies to 1 snuff out, you know. And for a time that was okay, because snuff out wasn't super prevalent, like after Brood Scale was banned. But there's also a time where it was just not good enough. So would I ever do it again? For sure, but it's not on my short list. So yeah, they have an Epic here, but they missed their land drop, which is pretty nice for us. We get a Skyguard. Unfortunately, Skyguard is just dies to Lava Dart right away. So maybe if they tap out, actually no, they still could flashback Lava Dart. They probably won't. Anyway, we'll play an Aerialist here. I could go for double Courage, but I think I want to do Aerialist, and then next turn I can like buff this and start attacking in. Another Epic here. Any particular reason for Heroic over Bogles? I think Heroic is more interesting and more consistent than Bogles. Like, Bogles is okay, but like fully saying your opponent can't ever interact with you is like not the most interesting. Obviously it can be easier to win some games with it, and obviously that means that like it's worse for us because our guys don't fully have hexproof, but we also get more out of it, right? We're not playing 1/1s for 1. We're playing an 0/4 that grows every time we cast something. Yes, it's more susceptible to snuff out and other interaction, but I think that it makes it so that it's more interesting gameplay for me because we actually have more abilities, but also more interesting thinking about what our opponent could do because of the fact that it's not just like me saying no. So I don't know. I think it's just more interesting, basically. We get Fairy Macabre, maybe. I'm not even sure if we want this. It does get rid of Snackers, which can be recurring blockers, but Mask of Law and Grace also just, we have ways to give protection from that, and Spirit Link's pretty good. So I don't know. Can I send a Mox Field list and you judge it? Yeah, you can send a list. Go for it. Heroic's mana base is definitely cleaner. Yes, that too. So more consistent because it's 1 color. And I think the power of the remote farms is just incredibly strong. And Bogles doesn't have that. Obviously, there are upsides to Bogles. I'm not saying it's strictly better in every way. But I think it's more consistent and more interesting. So for both those reasons, I like it better. Let's see. So this is a match, obviously, where we do want Spirit Links. So I think it's Guiding Voice that we would cut in this case. I could do like Emergent Scathe. There's some form of protection, but protection is obviously pretty good. Love the YouTube channel. Happy to finally catch a stream. I'm glad you're able to make it. Thanks for being here. Very macabre. Maybe just one of them. Sure, we'll try this. All right, this hand's pretty good. We don't have a Trailblazer, which is pretty much the most ideal way to start against anybody, but especially mono red. But we do have 2 creatures. We have a Mask of Longgrace and a Spirit Link, so could be very good. They have nothing for 2 turns, which is interesting. I can't imagine a Skyguard's going to survive, although Aerialist could just take a bolt. But if they do that, they would tap out, and then I could Skyguard and Mask of Longgrace it, which is kind of okay. In fact, very good. So I think this is worth it. They could like Fire Blast the Skyguard if all that plays out as I'm envisioning it, but that would be probably fine too. Gutter Snipe. Okay. Well, I can't get rid of a Gutter Snipe, so I could just Courage, Spirit Link, Hyena Umbra. Problem is, I'm not sure a Spirit Link on the Aerialist, which doesn't keep growing, is good enough. So I almost want to play a Skyguard and then Mask of Longgrace it. And then if we somehow, I mean, if we would have to take 20 damage to die right away, which is not impossible, but it seems unlikely. Then I get to like Spirit Link, Homestead Courage. This grows so much quicker, so I think we should do that. Unless they Fire Blast this, I have a protection from red creature there. We can attack for 2. I'm obviously happy with that trade. And then I can get this up to like 7 or 8 power next turn with lifelink, so that seems better. Grab the prize. Molten Rain, interesting. We're going to take 4. Can always Spirit Link the Gutter Snipe for fun. That is true. That is something we can do. I'm not sure that's what we want to do. I think it's better to have a 7/7-ish creature with lifelink. Oh, and we drew a land, which means we get to double Homestead Courage. So this will become a 9/9 with lifelink. All right, we won the match. If we put the Spirit Link on Gutter Snipe, it would be funny, but I don't think we would have already won the game. I think that's, yeah, definitely an easier one as long as we draw Spirit Link. If they Fire Blast it, it would give a lot of time to try to rebuild, for sure. It wouldn't necessarily be that bad for us if they did that. It's just always something to consider because they can always have access to it. And many times I'm like, oh, they can't really do anything. If they Fire Blast here, they go down to 1 land or 0 lands, and then they do it, and sometimes it is the right play for them, and then they can sometimes actually win the game off of that, even if it does set them back a lot. All right, real quick, this is Pink King 1's Kiln Fiend list. Crusaders, Satyr Hoplite, Immolating Soul Eater, Kiln Fiend, Spirit Guide, Ancestral Anger, Assault Strobe, Brute Force, Lava Dart, Mutagenic, Reckless Charge, Apostle's Blessing, Team of Battle Rage, Furor. Yep, pretty similar to a list that I was running, yeah, when I started playing, which was a couple years ago. To be fair, that means that obviously deck hasn't gotten many upgrades. So yeah, so I was playing this list for a little while and then decided I wanted to make it go black, which obviously makes it so it's 2 color in an aggro deck, makes it a lot worse. But Tainted Strike I think is just a super sweet card, and then Rouse is the card that I was talking about before. If you control a swamp, you may pay 2 life instead of paying its cost. Target creature gets +2/+0. It's 1 in a black as an instant. So basically another mutagenic growth. So 8 of these in the deck. Was kind of sweet, but again, made it less consistent. 4 2-drops with 1 land we're not going to be able to keep, unfortunately. This one's okay, depending on what matchup we're against. Faithless Looting. That's a good matchup for us. Looking forward to the inevitable 4-1, then a 5-0 with Infect. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be too upset if that's what we get, I will say. They discarded Highway Robbery and Mountain, so that's a great start for us. Flame Breather's a little unfortunate. Now we get a Trailblazer. I could Trailblazer and Guiding Voice. They would need a double bolt it to kill it, and if they want to do that, that's fine. I think that is better than playing the Aerialist. Sword Training. Big fan of a Crone Crusader. Yeah, I think in some of the lists I was playing, it was kind of a sideboard card for like Edict decks. But it is pretty sweet for sure. Would love to find Spirit Link. Hyena Umbra. I think we Umbra for 4, then Aerialist. That holds them back. I need to start getting in some damage. If they want to spend their turn bolting an Aerialist, that's, I mean, honestly not the worst for them because they would deal us 3 and then also get to attack for 3, but, or they just grab the prize and we take 5. Just makes blockers for terrors even if the pump spells gets countered. Yeah, that is pretty sweet. Big fan of that. Sentinel's Eyes is pretty good because it gives vigilance to the Aerialist and flying because of its ability, which means I can block the Snacker. So we can do this, and then Sword Training or Blessing. They take 7. We could die, but leaving up mana doesn't actually change that. It could keep an aerialist alive, which is relevant. They go to 9 here. Then I could give like pro black, pro red. No. Pro black and red. This goes to 6. And then sword training. Okay. I have lethal on them next turn then, I believe. Because if we blessing this, it goes to 5. We give pro black. Then we emerge unscathed. Gives pro red, so they can't block it at all. And then Sokka's sword training should pump it to 9. Now that's if we don't die. We just took 6 off of this. So seems unlikely that we'll survive. Grab the prize. We're taking 5. So they have to have nothing for 1 or 0 mana. Or 2 with a mountain. Also, they can just attack. They literally can just have like any one spell. There's a highway robbery. Okay. Well, let's find a Spirit Link this time. Trailblazer and Courage is a great start, but unfortunately, we're 2 lands too many and no other way to buff. Like, if we had these and then we get Spirit Link, like, this would be incredible, but we can't really rely on that. This one is not good enough. Why not keep Guiding Voice for Learn for more draw? Well, we have to cut something, because we have another Spirit Link, we have protection from red spells, and we don't have to bring in the Fairy Macabre. But we have to cut at least 3 spells there. I don't want to cut any creatures. Obviously, we're not cutting Spirit Links. So I think Guiding Voice is our worst other spell. In my short time, I took out Benevolent for the proper protection spells. Yeah, I mean, that's not a terrible idea. I don't think we can keep this either. This one's okay. Yeah, Blessing could be an okay one because it's more expensive and we don't need as much protection because as long as we just get up above lightning bolts and stuff, it'll be okay. So yeah, that's not a bad idea either. I kind of just think the Guiding Voice is our lowest impact, but it could be Blessing instead. I think I have to get rid of the Skyguard because it dies too easily. Because I could play it on turn 2, but they could just have a bolt or whatever. So and I need these lands and I need the pump spells. So I think we're doing this and trying to go all in on the Wonder Weave, which could work. I would really like an Ethereal Armor or something. Oh my gosh. They actually did it. The Mad Lads gave me an Ethereal Armor. All right, we're going to Sentinel's Eyes here because it's just as much pump as the armor. The only way they can kill this is a Fire Blast, paying for the ward, which is legitimately bad. Like, we don't want that to happen, although it would be obviously set them back quite a bit. They grab the prize with a Snacker. Yeah, because now we just get to... Trailblazer is tempting, but... But this has got ward. We can make it 6 power, lifelink, flying, vigilance. That's too good to pass up. I think that'll win us the game. Even if they can like chump block and dart this a few times, like we're already gaining too much. Yeah, that won us the game right there. Sure. Let's try cutting the blessings instead of the Guiding Voices. I think it's a reasonable idea. And I do like just lowering our curve a little bit. So we can give that a try. I don't have strong opinions necessarily on one being better than the other. This is so close. I just wish that these 2 creatures, maybe even these 2 creatures, were something different. Spells, obviously, that pumped our guy. I mean, we have a bunch of creatures, but does that even do enough? I don't think so. All right, we're going to keep this one. It's not very good, but I don't feel like... Unless we get the perfect hand, mulliganing to 5 is not a great idea. Sometimes it can work. Even 4s can work, but Trailblazer is very good. Hyena Umbra immediately on it's pretty good. And if we just get a way to give it lifelink or grow it more, it can be very strong. They do looting away a Lava Dart and a Snacker. Looting again immediately. No lands in all of that is pretty crazy. So do I want to go for an Aerialist or just start pumping the Trailblazer? I think Aerialist. They have another Faithless Looting. See if they can find those mountains now. Discard another Lava Dart and a Searing Blaze. They do find a mountain. Swing for 2. Umbra's decent. Let's grow here. I think grow here. And then I'm going to emerge unscathed just to grow this even more. Hit harder. I mean, it's only 1 damage, but could be relevant. Hit for 6. They have grab the prize. Missing a land drop again. Attacking. I mean, they're behind, but they could catch up if we don't get anything super good here. That is not very good. I mean, we have them dead next turn, so they're going to have to block with a snacker. But still, they do have double Lava Dart in the bin. They find another land. So they could, like, Gutter Snipe. Yup. Even if we get Lifelink, they have the Lava Dart to, like, hit their own snacker. Ethereal Armor. That gives +3. It would be +4 on the Trailblazer. I don't have Vigilance, unfortunately, which means attacking lets the Gutter Snipe attack back. But, alright. It's lethal here, but both of them together is lethal anyway. And I don't want to just attack with one, because then they could just, like, get it back. So we're just going for it. They're going to block here, and, I mean, they can double Lava Dart us and attack with Gutter Snipe. That puts us to 6, so they only need, like, a bolt and something else. So we could definitely be dead. Obviously, that's a little unfortunate considering that they started with, like, missing a bunch of land drops, but we did not draw very well. So, like, we ended up drawing 3 lands here. We only draw, like, 2 relevant spells. So, yeah, we will die. Definitely unfortunate, but it goes that way sometimes. Fair dot deck. Yeah, it certainly is a deck, isn't it? We're on the play, so this could be a turn 2 Skyguard with protection. Seems good, as long as it doesn't get Lava Darted or something. Can't have 4-1 anymore, but we can't have a 1-4. I didn't know that was possible. Yeah, does not compute. I thought our score total was always a binary of 1s and 4s instead of 1s and 0s. So it could be 1-1, 4-4, 1-4, 4-1. 3-man Inspector with Ancient Den, so it could be Borosynth Glint, or Orzhov Glintblade, but I'm kind of expecting it to be the mono white, like aggro deck with a bunch of artifacts. And I think we just go for Skyguard with Hyena Umbra. The poor man's 4-1, exactly. That's what we're going for. So they didn't have any Ornithopters or anything, which is nice. If it is Orzhov Glintblade and they just, like, Tithing Blade us, then we'll probably lose, to be honest. Oh, look. No Tithing Blade is nice, but it does look to be Orzhov. So I guess I can get the Aerialist down to absorb a hit. There's a Relic. Guiding Voice for sword training. Aerialist to eat a Tithing Blade, and I guess Homestead Courage. Attack for 7. I mean, this is almost lethal next turn, even if they do have, like, a Tithing Blade for this, assuming they don't have any blockers, which they could have Refurbs or Glinthawks or Skyfishers. There's the Tithing Blade. This is, like, the deck you don't want to see as a heroic deck, I will say. They have the mana, so next turn they could Glinthawk and then read Tithing Blade. Homestead Courage makes this 9. Hyena Umbra makes this 11. So it's not lethal either way. So I think I just attack and I play the Trailblazer. Although I guess I should have buffed this with something else because I don't actually want to buff the Trailblazer here. So here's a Hyena Umbra. Oh no, they got a remote farm. Whatever will we do? There's the Glinthawk, which does let them chump. So I guess protection from white would be our best draw. Emerge Unscathed or Benevolent Blessing. Either would do it. Even if we lose all the Umbras, we can still just get in for lethal. Hello, playing anti-red today. That's the goal. Unfortunately, we did just die to a red deck. Lauren's Escape is so close. Any of our other protection spells could have given us protection from white, whereas this doesn't, and we don't have another creature. Hyena Umbra on the Trailblazer could have saved you from Cast Down plus Tithing Blade from hand. That's fair, so that's not a bad idea. However, they would have needed Untapped Land, Cast Down, and Tithing Blade from among their 4 cards. So, like, it's definitely possible, but it would have been a lot that they needed specifically. But you're right. The Hyena Umbra on here wasn't super relevant, so maybe it would have been right to do that. I'm just going to attack. No reason to go more in on this. I'm going to hold up the Lauren's Escape in case that's relevant. I expect them to have another Tithing Blade or creature to pick it up. And the Hexproof and Indestructible is not going to save us there. There's the Glinthawk. So I guess I'm going to just Sword Training to get a clue. So, yeah, bit unfortunate. Oh, neat, the Learn build. Yeah. I'm still not really sure how I feel about it. Guiding Voice is fine because it's just 1 mana. Put a counter on a thing, but the actual Learn spells never feel the best. But yeah, we do get an Aerialist, which, you know, they're at 6. It could go the distance, assuming they don't have another way to kill it. Another Tithing Blade. Lembas. Is there a different heroic list that's not learn spells? I mean, there's a few different heroic lists. You can play like a toughness matters one with solid footing and what is it? The armored armadillo. But guiding voice is only 4 cards in this deck, so you can really just replace those 4 with anything else that you wanted, and it wouldn't have to be a learned build. And we didn't really have any good lessons. Cast down. Okay. I was going to play both of these. I could have like left up a Lawrence Escape, but I wanted to play both just in case it would make it harder for them to be able to kill both. Although if they have another way to pick this up, they will be able to do that. Yeah, before Avatar, we didn't have any good lessons to pull out. So, you know, the deck definitely existed before then, of course. Skyfisher kills this. So if we don't draw a creature again, we're going to be in trouble. I also have Yip Yip +2/+2 for learn. For 1 for learn. Yeah, I was just mentioning that having that in our sideboard would have won us a game in our first match. So I actually think it might be worth it. The Vigilance Matters Armadillo version has fallen out of use a lot. Yes. We are dead. Yeah, I mean it's fallen out. Like this is already like a tier 3 deck. So among that, like the Vigilance Matters is less prevalent, I think, but like, yeah, I don't know. I do think that this should have a Yip Yip in here, probably. Airbending Lesson is fine, but it's not really the best thing ever. We can get pro black, but all the creatures are white, and the Tithing Blades don't care, so I don't even know if that's worth it. I mean, Doom Traveler's definitely for the Tithing Blade matchup, but other than that, it doesn't feel like there's that much. We don't need life gain probably at all, but I don't mind leaving a couple if we need them. I guess just extra creatures is probably worthwhile because of the Tithing Blades. So let's just bring those in. Yeah. Ooh, that's a beautiful hand right there. Symmetrical. I like it. One creature I just don't think is going to cut it in this match at all, let alone one creature that we can't even cast because of our lands. I guess we'll keep this. I mean, I've already kept, but like, it's an okay 7, but we have to keep 2 lands. I think we have to keep 2 creatures, so only having 1 like ethereal armor is just really bad. 6 lands in an enchantment is a snap keep. I mean, that's a good point. It is an enchantment deck, so I should probably keep any hand with an enchantment in it, right? I kind of forgot about that rule. Inspector. We'll play an Aerialist. No black mana is decent. I do scry to the top. Sentinel's Eyes is good. Sentinel's Eyes is really strong on Aerialist. Like, that's definitely my favorite card to put on here just because it's 1 mana and it gives +1/+1 vigilance and flying. And it comes back if it dies. Plus, it's already got ward. Like, it's just really hard for them to do much. Inspiring Overseer. Was not expecting that one. 2022 called. All right. I guess we'll Ethereal Armor this other guy. It's kind of tough because obviously against Tithing Blades, you want to consolidate all your good stuff and then just have like 1 extra guy that you can throw away. But against something like Overseer, well, I didn't want to run a 2/2 into that, which means I would have to waste the damage and not attack if I didn't buff it, which could have been worth it. Seeing as they don't have black mana right now, I figured it might be okay to do it this way and try to just push damage. But who knows? Another Plains. They're going to pass. Homestead Courage. Should I be worried about Settle the Wreckage here? I'm trying to figure out what they could have. I mean, a Thraben Charm would kill either enchantment or one of our creatures directly. I guess we buff here, because if they have a Thraben Charm, they do it in response, and then I at least know about it. Yeah, there's the charm. I guess we'll buff here and swing. Your creatures can't die to Tithing Blade if you keep a hand with no creatures. Now that's some good thinking. That is the number 1 thing I want to avoid in this matchup, is our creatures dying to Tithing Blade. So I probably should think about that a little bit more. Another Overseer. What is this white on white violence? Don't be deceived. They're white-black. They just haven't cast any black spells this turn, or this game. Also, we have double Plains in hand. If they go for a double block, yeah, I mean, that's pretty bad. Probably shouldn't have even attacked, but like, what are we doing if we're not attacking? And I guess I at least traded for them as opposed to just dying to a Tithing Blade. It's like a hard counter to Tithing Blade, exactly. And then there's the Refurb. Exactly. Dodging the blade. As soon as we see the black mana, we're out. Swing for 1. Okay, I mean, so many Overseers. Oh, I guess there's hope yet. Probably not actually, but we got a creature. Okay, you can't make my creature die to Tithing Blade because I'm not even here. I'm not even in the game. Well, like I said, that is like the worst matchup we could run into. It's the Tithing Blade matchup. So 2-3, not great. This is a deck certainly susceptible to a lot of things. Got a little unlucky, / maybe should have mulliganed better against the second Madness opponent. We did okay otherwise, but I don't know. It's not the best deck ever, but we also did get a league in an hour 15. Sometimes it can be even faster than that. So, yeah. Smoke Bomb, counter to Tithing Blade. No one sees it coming. Exactly. Poof, I'm not even here. Rich Man's 1-4 is the 2-3. Exactly. All right, well, if you're watching on YouTube, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.